Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and it's time for another Adorama Picks Rapid Fire Critique where I take your best 10 images and give it a critiquerson. You can click the link down below to take you over to the website to submit your best 10 images if you would like me to try and give yours a critique. Remember, I get so many of them submitted that I can't do them all. Let's see what we have this time. We have My Portfolio by Axel-Dev Dehunsi. All right, let's click on the first one and let's scroll down real quick. I like seeing EXIF data. We got EOS 60D with a 17-50. That's a 2.8. That's probably either a Sigma or a Tamron. And the first photo, so the aspect ratio looks like it's cropped, but it looks to be a creative crop to make the image better. I've said this before. You know that I'm not a big fan of cropping personally when it comes to my work. Again, that doesn't mean that it doesn't work for you if that's what you would like to do. Or if you want to do a creative crop where you have an idea that the image will be made better because you set out to shoot it that way and the aspect ratio so happens to be different, then so be it. Like in this one, it looks really good the way that it's shot. Now, I assume that it's India. This looks like a brick factory being made. Would this image be good if this subject wasn't here in it? I don't think so. I think that the child or person, it looks like a child, in this image makes the shot. Is it a little distracting having all this stuff up here? A little bit, but it's not a deterrent very much. The processing's nice. The editing, the creative crop looks good, the exposure, everything in this image is nice. I like this shot. Moving on to the next one. It's just that's lots of bricks. Nice processing, not too far over the top. I think it's pretty close to going too far. 22 millimeters with the 17-50 at f2.8 at 1/40th of a second, which is risky. Very risky at 1/40th at 160 ISO. You could have gone to 400 ISO. Let's talk about that real quick. You are risking motion blur and not sharp images by doing this, by shooting at 1/40th of a second at 2.8. That's fine to be at 2.8, and let's look at how we can get a faster shutter speed here. At 160 ISO, say we'll just call it 200, and then we go to 400. It's not 2 stops, but it's almost 2 stops. So how do we figure out how to get more light to compensate? How do we compensate? Because we like this exposure, we want the same exposure. We can take the 1/40th, and since we went up 2 stops, we'll call it, we could go to 1/80th of a second, which is better to handhold with 22 millimeters, or 1/60th of a second at 400 ISO at f2.8 at 22 millimeters would give us basically the same exact exposure or somewhere close. But what I will say is that you did a fantastic job hand-holding this at 1/40th of a second to get a fantastic shot. What I would like to see is less headroom up here, maybe a little bit more of the feet. It's just wishful thinking. I'm not saying I need to see it, but this is a solid processing job. I didn't even see the cigarette. It looks good. The colors are tight and sharp. This is the contrast that I live for, and this is coming from a Canon 60D. They've done the 70D, they've done the 80D. This is the 60D. Doesn't matter what body you have, doesn't matter what lens you have, but that 17-50 2.8 range is a great range on a DX camera. Beautiful shot. I see, you see how I'm showing this right here? You see how that composition works a little better? Let me show you. I just feel like there's too much headroom. We like the cup in the bottom. We want to keep the cup. So this looks to be about what the aspect ratio would be, 2:3. That type of framing, I think, could work in a shot. Or, even more so, if you didn't have the cup in there, that's not a good crop. I mean, all right. It looks like the cup would have to be in there. There, I got rid of the cup. Not enough headroom. I didn't leave enough headroom. See, that would be a bad shot, composition-wise. I'm always looking at composition in my head. That would be too tight around the head. You would want to be somewhere around here to make that crop where you did it. So this is all right. I'll tell you why. The background is distracting. This is done with the 17-50 2.8. This is where that at 42 millimeters isn't giving you enough. You need to separate the background even more. Would a black and white save the image to take it and make the background less distracting? In terms of processing, in terms of exposure, in terms of composition, it's all spot on. Just know that when you use something like a 70 to 200, 80 to 200, something a little longer, even a kit lens, an 18 to 135 out at 135, is going to compress the background and the subject even more, which is going to make the portrait pop. At 42 millimeters, it's hard to get a portrait that looks anything but like a snapshot. This is not as impressive when you're shooting further back like this. That's much better. Or in this case, I would like to see it taken with a longer lens to compress it more. When you shoot wider, portraits don't look as impressive. It's a good shot. It could be better. This is interesting because it has the movement. 1/30th of a second. It's very similar to a panning shot. Usually I'm not a big fan of shots with movement unless they convey movement. And in this case, it's a bike with a back thing on it, 2 kids running and pushing, and a child in it. The motion being conveyed absolutely works. Like when somebody's eating or somebody's sewing or somebody's shuffling cards, to get the movement in the image but still have something sharp, which this kid is pretty close. They're not completely there, but even if the kid's not completely there, the image works in my opinion. Is it the best in the world? No. But the background's actually not distracting with the movement in it, and they're moving, they're running. It's conveying something, it's conveying an emotion. So nice job right there. Woo! Hey now! Oh, Jesus, look at that. 30 millimeters. Somebody likes shooting extra wide. That's a 30 millimeter. If it's just a fixed 30, it's that Sigma 30 1.4 or 1.8 or something. So this eye is in focus right here, and it doesn't look like that one is, which isn't a deterrent. Just saying the whole face is really in focus. It's just weird how that one eye is out of focus, but his tip of his nose to the eye is in focus. I'm curious that I will almost go out here and tell you that this eye is not in focus, that the focus is locked here right on the nose and on the mouth, because that is super tack sharp, where the forehead isn't. I'm going to say that it missed, but it's not off by much, and I can't really tell, so if I can't tell, it's still good. Not really true, but I just think it missed a little bit. Beautiful. I mean, it's a great shot. Even with 30 millimeters, getting a portrait that works is nice. Background's not too distracting. Colors and processing, A+. Nice job. Moving on. All right, this is definitely a black and white image. Not saying that because it's black and white. I'm saying it feels better in a black and white because of the look. She looks like she's crying and snot's coming down her nose or something. I think. I could be wrong. But that's impressive because it's conveying something here. Like a sad image is what I'm getting out of it. Like, what are you doing? Or help me, or whatever. That's what I feel when looking at it. What do you feel when looking at it? Leave a comment down below so I know. And also don't forget to give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, share it out with the world, and leave a comment just to hear what your thoughts are on this set, because I would love to hear what your critiques of the critiqued images are. Something like that. So that's a cool image as well. What the heck is that? Is that surgery? Wow, I wish I knew more about this. Again, 20 millimeters. Wow. So it works. I would love to know the context of the story, but that's really about all I can say about it. Is this a fire or is this a funeral? See, yeah, cremation of, okay. Did the other one say something? No. So yeah, wow, a cremation of my father's aunt. So that's a person being cremated. It's pretty intense right there. But it would have been hard to tell that unless it had a caption. So I don't see, not that I want to see a person unless that is a body right there. I hope not, but I mean, it's not a bad thing. In context in a photo story, absolutely works. You just need some context here because it's very hard to know. For me, I didn't know. Maybe some of you guys knew, but I didn't know. All right, so this person looks like a great person to capture an image of. Even that composition works a hell of a lot better. You see how we're looking at this? We're getting rid of all that. See, these lines aren't straight back here, but when you zoom in, you can't really tell that the lines aren't straight. So that is the type of composition I would have gone for. I don't like the background. It takes me away, and I actually don't like that it's a crop. Is it done? It's not with an iPhone, so I don't like the square crop. If I were you, let's just go like this to do the zoom in thing, and let's work on this. See how I moved it rule of thirds. I like this rule of thirds more than anything. We're going to go like this. Watch. So you could do something like that. I would recompose this. Hold on. To keep the stairs in there. I'm doing this all while it's zoomed in. And, or come in and do something along these lines. That's what I would do with an image like this. So we'll zoom back out. Wow. And that's the last shot here. Very nice job with just one lens here. That's crazy. The way that that sky is done is crazy. We lose the city, but the sky is absolutely insane. So some really awesome processing, great color, great moments captured. Really, really nice job. So nice job goes out to Axel Dev Dahansi. So that's another Adorama Picks Rapid Fire Critique. If you would like to submit your best 10 images, go ahead and look over on the website for where I do the Rapid Fire Critiques. Click the button that says Submit Your Critique or whatever it says. I don't even know what it says because I haven't made it yet. And you can submit your best 10 images. Make sure they're your best 10 images. Doesn't have to be 10, but make sure whatever you send me is the best of the best of the best with honors, sir. So don't forget to give this a like, a comment, a share, or whatever you would like. And don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube or on Facebook, wherever you're watching. And thank you guys very much. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.